Welcome to RidgeLife. I'm Tim, and today we're going to breed our meat rabbits. We have got 3 meat rabbits here on the ridge. We got them from His Way Homestead down in Mississippi. Good YouTube friends of ours. Go check out Doug Cave and Shelly down there at His Way Homestead. Now we've got a Frosty, which is a Texas A&M New Zealand. He's a beautiful white rabbit with the red eyes. We also have Texas A&M composites. Now they're colored rabbits with the colored eyes. Now we've got Peppa. She is white with gray banding on her. And then we have Cupcake, which is a nice chocolatey brown. Now all 3 of these were born on April 11th of 2020. Now this is October 11th of 2020, so they are 6 months old. Now that's perfect, gives the male time to be virile, and the females are receptive. You don't want to breed your rabbits too soon. The females may not interact with the male very well and cut his junk off. And you don't want your females cutting your buck's junk off. So the does to buck, if they don't get along, that can happen. That's why you always want to monitor your buck and your doe when you're breeding them. I wouldn't just put them in the cage and go away for a couple hours. If she's not receptive and they start to fight, in one quick snip, she can make his manhood go away, and then now you've got a useless buck. Some meat rabbit facts. Now these are generalizations. You may have some different information, but it's about 4 weeks for a rabbit to gestate. So for her to have her kits, it's about 4 weeks. 28 to 31 days is really where you see that. And they can rebreed in 5 weeks. Now, when the kits are about 3 weeks old, you can remove them from the box. And about 6 weeks old, you can wean them from their mother. Depending on the weight, when you want to harvest, you can harvest them around 11 or 12 weeks. And in 4 to 6 months, you can breed those females. Again, you want to wait about 6 months for the bucks for them to be able to breed. And you always want to bring the female to the male whenever you're going to breed your meat rabbits. The females are very territorial. So if you bring the male to the female, she may fight right out of the bat because she doesn't want him in her space. And of course, he also is in a new territory and he wants to sniff around, and he may be less likely to want to get it on and have some good time today. So to have the most effective breeding, you want to bring your female to the male. That's the doe to the buck's cage, and he should just get right at it. This is our buck, Frosty. Again, he is a 6-month-old New Zealand. Texas A&M New Zealand. The Texas A&M are really bred to handle the heat here in the south. We're in the West Tennessee near Memphis area. It gets hot in the south. So their ears, now his ears aren't that long like the females, but the ears are much longer, and they've got a lot more surface area and blood flow content to really keep them cool in the summertime. Their hair is not quite as thick as some of the other breeds. So again, Texas A&M New Zealands are really, really good rabbits for hot environments like we have. He is a really good docile buck. He lets us hold him very well. Doesn't give us too many problems. Of course, you got to watch their nails picking them up. You know, all these meat rabbits' nails, they're not like typical pet rabbits. You know, you could spend a lot of time with them and maybe get them as tame, but you just got to be careful. They can get you with their nails. Now we're going to keep these 3, our 2 does and our buck. If our does are good mamas, if they have kits and take care of their kits and have good number of kits, good healthy kits, are good mamas, we'll keep these 2 does as breeding does for a very long time. And of course, Frosty, he does his job. If he gets his fall-offs, we'll talk about those in a minute. He gets his fall-offs and takes care of his does. We'll keep him also. So we'll have 1 buck and 2 does. Now, in the future, we may want to increase our genetics or diversify our genetics. We may get another buck or another doe. We won't breed the brothers and sisters of the offspring of these for sure. Now this is Peppa. She is a big New Zealand doe. She's a composite. You can see the banding she has on her, the gray banding. She is just beautiful. These long new Texas A&M ears and lots of good airflow, or blood flow, I mean, to keep herself cool. And she's just a beautiful doe. And see how much bigger the does are than the bucks. That's a good sign. Good healthy. Their eyes are clear. We got no mites in their ears. Very, very healthy. Perfect time to breed them. You want to make sure that you have healthy rabbits when you breed them. You don't want to breed an unhealthy rabbit. It's going to be very much harder on them and the kits. So we are going to bring her to Frosty here, and you're going to watch the magic happen. And I talk about fall-offs. We're going to bring Peppa to Frosty here in just a second, and the buck's going to want to sniff around the doe. He wants to get her worked up, if you will. So she will raise her rear end, and then he will, of course, mount her and do his rabbit business. When you have a successful intercourse, the buck will seize up and he'll fall off the doe, and that's why they call it a fall off. His rear legs go up in the air. It's quite comical, actually. His rear legs go up in the air, he kind of shudders a little bit, he falls off like he's asleep, wakes back up, and he is ready to go at it again. Now what we want them to do that 3 times. So that breeding takes place 3 times. I see 3 fall-offs. There's a very high likelihood that one of them is taken, and that doe will be impregnated. So let's bring Peppa over to Frosty and see how that goes. Well, that went very well. That was Frosty's first time. So Peppa, was kind of reluctant there at first. He was very persistent, but once he figured it out, he did his job. We got 4 successful fall-offs, Frosty to Peppa. So 4 successful fall-offs. Now let's get Cupcake out. We'll show you her, and we'll bring her over for her breeding. All right, everyone, this is Cupcake. She is a beautiful Texas A&M composite, just a beautiful chocolate. We called her Cupcake because it looks like a frosted chocolate cupcake. So just a beautiful rabbit, big beautiful ears. She has no mites, clear eyes. She's very healthy. Again, all of our rabbits are very, very nice. They don't get too aggressive with us, so we're very lucky with that. And the temperament helps when you're dealing with your meat rabbits. If you got good temperament in them, you'll breed that through to your grow outs, and so much more easy to deal with. So we're going to bring Cupcake over to Frosty and see how this goes. Again, this is Cupcake's first time also. Well, that was interesting. Cupcake was a little less receptive than Peppa was to Frosty, but eventually we did get 3 successful fall-offs. It took a lot longer. She was a little irritated by him, but eventually he got the job done, so that was pretty successful on both parts. The next video we produce with our rabbits is going to be us making our nesting boxes. Now the nesting boxes need to be big enough to hold the big old doe, 8 to 10 kits. Yes, they could have up to 8 to 10 kits. We're going to have straw in there with them. Now, the doe, what she'll do is a day or so before she goes to kindling is the act of having the baby kits, she'll start pulling her chest hair out, her fur hair, pulling her fur out, and she'll add to that straw a fur nest. And that's where she's going to have her kits inside that fur nest to keep them all snugly and warm. So when you start seeing them pull that fur out, you need to have that nesting box ready and know that those kits are coming soon. Let's cross our finger, guys, that both these does were successfully bred. I know I'm learning a lot. This is our first year with meat rabbits, so these will be our first kindling of our does. And we are just super excited to have these meat rabbits here as a new protein source here on the Ridge for us and our family. Please be sure to subscribe to Ridge Life, hit the notification bell to be notified when these new videos come out so you can see when these babies are born. It's going to be quite exciting. We're going to let them be and rest a bit. I know Frosty's got to be tired after all that. So until next time, I hope everyone has a blessed day and go Ridge Life.